Hello guys, how's it going? So I just wanted to put together a quick guide to show you the best way to level up fast in Diablo 4. If you're trying to reach the hallowed ranks of level 100 but it seems like it's taking ages, there's probably something you're not doing that you might want to think about. I'll tell you what some of these things you're not thinking about could be. Or maybe you've just started playing the game and you want the quickest possible way to level 50. I'll be telling you how you can level the fastest wherever you are in the game and what you can do in Diablo 4 to make sure you're optimizing your leveling as much as you can, from level 1 to 50 and from level 50 to level 100. So we'll start with getting to level 50. How do we get to level 50 the fastest? And by the way guys, if you're already at level 50, feel free to skip ahead by using the chapters below. Now, by far the quickest way of ranking up at this stage of the game is also the most straightforward, by doing the campaign. The campaign quests get you the most XP by far, so if you just do all of these, then you don't really have to do much else to be ranking up. For me personally, by the time I finished the campaign, I was around level 45 and I hadn't done all that many extra side quests or anything on top of the campaign. The Altars of Lilith are definitely worth considering, as are a few side quests, but for the most part you just want to blast through that campaign. You shouldn't have too much trouble during the campaign in terms of difficulty, but let's say you're right near the end of it and you just want to boost yourself up to that level 50 to complete the capstone dungeon. The capstone dungeon is where a lot of people struggle, just because it's sort of a skill check designed to make sure you're at least level 50. This capstone dungeon opens once you've completed the campaign, and only by completing the capstone dungeon, which is called Cathedral of Light and it's in Kovashad, can you unlock World Tier 3. With World Tier 3 comes Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide events and even better loot. And more importantly, enemies give you double the experience. You get a 2 times experience boost plus 15% more gold in World Tier 3. So yeah, we really want to beat that dungeon, and for that it requires getting up to at least level 50. Everything in that dungeon is level 50 minimum, and if you're not 50 at least, you will struggle. So let's say you want to quickly get up to level 50 after beating the campaign. Well, the thing you want to prioritize here is the Tree of Whispers. This is again something that opens up after the campaign. It's part of the endgame system in Diablo and gives you frequently cycling world objectives and bounties that reward you with loads of XP, as well as legendary gear and crafting materials. The objectives reset every 90 minutes, so there's an inexhaustible amount of XP you can get from the Tree of Whispers. The most effective quest you can take on from the Tree of Whispers are dungeons. You can do a bunch of things, but the dungeons are best. These are really straightforward and give you 5 Grim Favors each time. You only need 10 Grim Favors in order to cash in your rewards, so do 2 dungeons and you've got your reward ready to go, which again is loads of XP and a bunch of legendary items. Now, just one thing to be aware of: if the clock runs out while you're completing a Tree of Whispers quest, you won't get any Grim Favors for it. So let's say you head into a dungeon with 5 minutes to go on the clock and it takes you roughly 20 minutes to do the dungeon. When you complete it, you won't sadly get any Grim Favors, so it's pretty much a waste of time. It's way better for you if you wait those 5 minutes and then wait to see what the next series of dungeons will be. Grim Favors are tracked separately in each world tier, with higher tiers awarding better loot, which is great because we're aiming to increase our world tier anyway, and only by completing the capstone dungeon can we do that. So the Tree of Whispers is something you want to keep coming back to regardless of your world tier. So that's how to reach rank 50 the fastest. Just keep doing the Tree of Whispers until you reach rank 50. But what about getting from level 50 to level 100? Well, there are a few different things you can do. I'll start with somewhat of a cheeky XP farm, which is here. This is the Core Dragan Stronghold. It's a small area and contains a bunch of elites, which are great for getting XP. And the enemies here are always 2 levels above you, which is the perfect sweet spot. Higher level enemies give you more XP XP, but if they're too high, then it just becomes too hard and it takes too long. So you really want that sweet spot, and strongholds give you that. Now you can do any stronghold you like really, but Khor Dragan just has a great layout. As I say, it's really small and it just funnels those elites your way. So it takes the least amount of time. And the trick with grinding strongholds is you never want to finish them. Just farm those elites and then leave the game. When you load back into the game, you'll spawn by the entrance and all the enemies will have spawned back. So you can farm them all over again. Strongholds aside, because that can get a bit boring if you keep doing those over and over again, the number one thing you want to prioritize when speed leveling in Diablo 4 after you've hit rank 50 is the Nightmare Dungeons. Nightmare Dungeons are unlocked in tier 3 and these are really the best in terms of time you spend in them per XP paid out. You won't see Nightmare Dungeons at first though, because you have to earn them, and to do that you need a sigil. Sigils come from Tree of Whispers quests, Legion events or Helltide events. So complete one of these and you have a chance of getting a sigil. If you don't get a sigil, keep doing these until you do. They're not all that rare really. Once you have your sigil, you can use it to unlock a Nightmare Dungeon, and this is the place you want to keep going back to grind out those levels. Legion events are fine too, they also give you a bunch of XP, but for me they take a while to get to, so there's the travelling you've got to consider and you also have to wait around for them. Whereas Nightmare Dungeons, you can teleport straight there, complete it, then teleport back to town and do what you need to do there. It's a really streamlined cycle with vastly reduced downtime, meaning more time leveling and less time messing around. We don't have time to mess around in this game. Do that until you reach rank 70 and then you can open up World Tier 4. World Tier 4 unlocks after beating the second capstone dungeon, which is the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon in the Dry Steppes. But like the first capstone dungeon, I wouldn't recommend going in on anything less than level 70. It is worth it though, because on World Tier 4 you get triple the amount of experience, so it really pays off. Although it goes without saying that World Tier 4 really is for players deep into the endgame of Diablo 4. World Tier 4 is for when you've got your build locked down, you know exactly how it works and every talent and ability is where it needs to be. And all your items are upgraded and have really good affixes. But for all that effort, you are paid handsomely, because not only do you get triple XP, but also 15% more gold on top of the 15% added by World Tier 3 and 15% added by World Tier 4. You also get ancestral items and additional unique items can drop as well. So all this experience helps get from 70 to the level cap of 100, but it will take a while. Leveling slows down the nearer you get to level 100. So don't go in thinking you're going to blaze it in the time it took you to get from 1 to 50. But getting from 70 to 100 is very much like getting from 50 to 70, so you do basically the same stuff. That is Nightmare Dungeons. Prioritize Nightmare Dungeons. These are the single best thing you can do to level up. And also, if you want to mix it up a little, do Legion events and Helltide events. Again, they're not as straightforward or as time effective as Nightmare Dungeons, but if you don't want to just keep doing dungeons over and over again, because of course we do want to have a little fun in this game, then try those. Between farms and runs, make sure you're visiting a town that's got an optimal layout, and by that I mean a town where all the vendors are close to each other. And the best town for me that does this is Seregar. Seregar is located here, and it doesn't take that much time at all to see the occultist, the blacksmith, and your stash and what have you. Way better than Kaivershad, which is a bit too big and takes a bit too much time, which leads to a lot of downtime between your runs. And one final thing, if you don't play in a group, you're missing out on possible experience. That's because when you group up, you actually get an experience boost of 10%, which is really handy. Even if you're not in a group and you just happen to meet somebody out in the world, you get a 5% XP boost just by being next to them. Bear in mind, you will have to be fighting enemies as you're next to them. You can't just run past them and get a boost, but it's a pretty good bonus all the same. And not only that, but being in a group obviously makes the whole fight take less time, as there's more of you to take on the enemies. So you can get through dungeons that much quicker, earn your 10% more XP and level up that much faster. Now, if you want to play alone, that's fine, as it can be hard to organize groups, but just know that you do get get a little extra for doing so. Anyway, that's how to level up the fastest in Diablo 4. There aren't any glaring hacks or glitches you can take advantage of because Blizzard are pretty good at jumping on those and ironing them out. But there is a list of things you can do that pay out more XP faster, and these are generally the Tree of Whispers quests and Nightmare dungeons. These are the best by far, followed by, if you want a bit more variety, Legion events and Helltide events. So do those, prioritize those, and you'll get up to the hallowed ranks of level 100 and unlock World Tier 4 in no time. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If this helped you out at all, then leave a like, and for more Diablo 4 guides, subscribe to the channel.